because we know that the Afar Special Forces have been active participants of the ongoing Tigray genocide. So we have a brother from the Afar region of Ethiopia. We will particularly focus on the Abara massacre, a massacre that has been committed. Welcome those of you who just joined us, and I see some journalists in the space, so if you guys have any particular question for our brother, please feel free to request a mic and you can present your questions to him. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to have a direct talk with you all.
I know what's happening in Abarara is really, really sad, and there's a lot of people being killed. However, what I can tell you, and this the international community should know as well, is Tigrayan speakers have been arrested, are being to be arrested in the Afar region, especially in the big towns and cities. From Aydaadi, from Dubti, from Awash, and from Samara, all the way to Barahli. And then the next day there was, like I said earlier, there was a protest saying that any person who speaks Tigrinya should be driven out of their homes in the Afar region, and should be either, there was some messages saying they should either be killed or be sent to Tigray. Now this was the way how I think the Abarara massacre came about. And just a few days ago, what happened was exactly the result of such hatred, such propaganda-filled messages. And in Abarara, it is very important to discuss this. I'm really sorry to talk about this violence, but they went to every house in Abarara, and they've shot so many people. I don't know what the number would be, because they weren't really they didn't really allow the people to verify the numbers. But my opinion is actually they've killed hundreds in their homes, and any person that remained of Tigray in Abarara, they've actually driven them out of Abarara. And a lot of Tigrayans that have been resident in Abarara, unfortunately, they had to take be forced from their homes and go all the way to Tigray on foot through the mountains. Probably there was a lot of challenges that faced to those who even managed to get to Tigray. I don't know if they got it there, but all I know is for sure there is not a single Tigrayan who have been allowed to stay in Abarara. Just to clarify, these Tigrayans and these Tigrayans who were killed in Abarara and who've been driven out of their homes in Abarara, they didn't come to Abarara at the beginning of the conflict or recently. These people are indigenous to Abarara. They've been here for so long. It is very difficult to say Abarara is not their home, but they've been driven out of Abarara forcefully by the Afar regional government forces, the special forces and the militias and the agents, some of which obviously there are Eritrean agents now in Afar region working with the government of Afar to drive out. And it's been really difficult week or so in Abarara, but this is exactly happening, and it needs to be, the world needs to know about this. The world needs to know what's going on in the Afar region. Thank you.
Thank you, Abarara. So Contrary to what the Ethiopian government would have the world believe, Tigrayan residents of the Afar region, particularly Abala part, are facing a state-sponsored violence. They're being massacred, as you heard it from Abarara himself. They're being massacred, killed, arrested, and also internally displaced.
Sure. Hi. I want to say thank you for everybody for putting this event on, and thank you, Abarara, for talking about all of this. My question is, in the region of Afar, I was wondering if there was, you spoke about some of the people who were against some of these things that were happening. I was wondering if there was any sort of religious narratives around peace or around tolerance or around how this war and the ethnically targeted violence was sort of against the prevailing religions. I believe from my research before that Afar is predominantly Muslim, and this is the way this war is being waged is certainly outside of the what would be in the Quran about how war could be waged. I was wondering if you would maybe elaborate a little bit on anything you might know about the religious resistance, if there is any, to some of the things that are happening. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this question, Duke. It is very important to actually, talk about this specific aspect. Now, the Afar regional government, with its so-called religious elders, have attempted to make this war look like a religious war. They've actually done everything they can to make it as if this is a religious war. This is not a religious war. Every Afar, in fact, this is where the Afar regional government have lost the plot by trying to pretend this is a religious war. Every Afar there is Muslim, and every Afar knows that for certainty. It is not a war to bring Christianity or Islam or anything like that. This is a political war. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I was just wondering, has there been any statements, or I believe the Majlis is in Afar as well. I believe they have regional. I spoke to the one from Oromia when I was in Ethiopia, and I believe they have in Afar they have a Majlis, regional Majlis. Have they issued any statements about the war? Are they pro-government? Are they? I know that on a national level they were sort of co-opted by the government as they were about a decade before and up until now. But I was wondering if there were any sort of official statements from recognized religious leaders, one way or the other, about the war, either in favor of these ethnic violence or against the ethnic violence, from like the official, the semi-official leadership.
Unfortunately, yes. There has been certain Majlis members in Samara who went on about this war being like a form of preserving like religious identity of the Afar people, and that's why they were fighting, and that the TPLF destroyed mosques and so on, which was deliberately promoted and pushed as an agenda by the Afar regional government. So the public would be outraged and would stand on its side and to justify the war in a more bloody manner. That's precisely the reason the so-called Majlis members and Majlis elders have pushed this agenda in Samara. Unfortunately, they did. In fact, just to clarify, some of them have even went to the point of excommunicating the Afars who have opposed the war and went to Tigray to fight back the fascist regime. they've actually went to the point of that. But all I can say is that agenda, that narrative was pushed forward by our Arba, and it has nothing to do whatsoever with religion. And if you look into it, it's really it's absolutely ridiculous and stupid to make such sweeping claims, especially when the Afars who went to Tigray and went there because of the political difference.